So let's start with this scene, and I'm going to texture some of the walls and the floor and some other objects before I start the final gather and the global illumination. I want to get rid of the resolution gate. Those are similar buttons in 2016, so not to be confused. I'm going to let you know if something is different from 2016 to 2015. So I'm going to, I added this box, all this, I mean these are like just walls. I added them in a layer so I can work here. I have this trim that I need to duplicate, so let me do that. I forgot to do this, so I'm just going to duplicate that, move it on the side. Hold down the J and rotate it 90 degrees. And just bring it all the way. Over here. If I want to cut it in this side, on this side, I'm just going to go to the right view, front view. So I want to cut this around here. I'm going to use the the multi-cut tool and draw one here and one edge over there. That should give me the opportunity to delete these faces. So approximately kind of where the wall is, I can go to the channel box and just double check. So it's not, it has to be, I have to bring it in. So it's kind of covered by the wall right now, so I'm going to bring it in. About there. And for the floor, I'm just going to add some texture. So here's the floor, and I downloaded some textures from CG Textures. So from here, they changed their website and they have more textures, but you know, you get a little bit, you get some credits per day if you're like a free member. So I downloaded this floor tile, wood floor tile, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this floor. This is just Lambert 1 now. Select this wood floor and assign a new material, metal ray, MIA material X, and I'm going to use a preset like a glossy finish, but I don't want the floor to be that glossy, so I'm going to make sure, I'm going to make it decrease the reflection and make the glossiness, make it like more blurry, so kind of like that. And under the color I will replace it with the texture file. So I'm going to use a file. So I'm going to use this wood texture. So now it's mapping it in I'm just going to press Alt H to go and only work on this one. So I want to rotate the texture 90 degrees. So let's see, MIA material X. How do we get to the point that we can see the placement? So we select that. Here's the material. We go to the little check area that's supposed to be the texture, but that's the file. So I need to go to the place 2D texture node. This is the two-dimensional node that places the texture, and I can do repeats, or you know, I can rotate the frame. So I can just rotate this 90 degrees. The texture seems like out of scale. It looks really large, so I'm just gonna repeat that maybe 4 times and 4, maybe maybe 5, no, 3, something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect at this moment. I'm just trying to get something going for this tutorial, and that should be fine. I can also, forgot to do that, I can also use this technique I'm going to go to, I'm on viewport 2.0 so I can see it right now. That kind of randomizes this thing. So it's not repeat, so it kind of like blurs it out around. So the floor should be fine right now. And I'm going to go and hold Control Shift and H to bring all the objects back. I'm going to texture this thing with another image. So assign new material. I don't need anything sophisticated. I'm going to use a Lambert and replace that with a file. And use this guy here. That should be fine. I mean, I can do a planar map. Remember, the planar map is under the polygon area, the modeling area, and UV, planar, settings. So I want to project it not on the Y, not on the Z, but straight on the X. So X, apply, and I can just move around and place it, do the placement. So that's done, and let's bring up the walls and texture the walls, which is the final thing. So now this one, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to move this all the way to here, and I'm just going to duplicate that and get rid of this other floor and get rid of that floor, duplicate that. So this model was not complete, just so you know. I'm just doing that quickly here. So I get a floor, and I don't have anything here, so I only need the walls and the trim. So the trim I can do with just a white material. Assign a new material, maybe a MIA material X, and just a flat white. So matte finish, just almost white, and bring the walls in. And select the wall and assign new material, and I'm going to use another MIA material X, and what I'm going to do for that is just use like a flat white again, matte finish, but replace it with I'll make it white sort of, and give like a little stucco procedural map. So I'm going to go to the bump map and make a bump map for the wall. So the overall bump, I'm going to add something here. I'm going to add a procedural map, which is stucco. These are 3D environment textures that can create like a. I'm going to link it to the bump map. So stucco. Now this is kind of strange looking, but if you go and you want to review the render, so I'm going to turn on the resolution gate. And go over here, and I don't need that. So go to the render window, and let's review the whole thing. So the stucco is out of scale, it's out of context, it's way too large for what we have here. So I'm just going to go next to the sofa to have the sofa as my kind of reference for scale. So the stucco is way too large for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, when you do a 3D texture, like I made this procedural 3D texture, then it comes with this placement thing. This placement node is this thing here. So what I only need to do is like to make the placement node be smaller. So I'll scale the placement node. I'm going to do it like 0.2. All scale, all universal scale, and I want to see what. So I'm going to hold this image. I'm going to see what I get. It's a little bit better, but it's a little. Maybe I'm going to go 0.1, and then I'm going to make the bump map a little bit less intense, because that is kind of too rough. And I'm going to go back to the bump map. I'm going to select the wall that has the material. I'm going to go down here, overall bump. We'll go here. Okay. It should be, oh, here we go. Bump depth, that's too much. I'm gonna go 0. I'm gonna do half. So I just added an overall bump of 0.5. This is fine, so I'm gonna use that. Now that's the texturing part. So now I'm gonna frame it. I'm gonna frame my scene, probably about this area, and I'm gonna make sure to start the render settings. I don't have any lights. I have mental ray on. And image size, I'm gonna go and change it to HD 720. Do like a test render. And I have this. I linked, actually the camera has an environment, so I added a blue environment. The way you do that, you go to view, select the camera that you are in, it selects the camera that you see through, and you go all the way down at the environment and you change the background color to whatever you want. So I added the blue. So I'm gonna stop the